Hi guys, welcome to another edition of a BalloonHead Live. I'm your host. Let me just see if I can fix this. I do not like that at all. Um, Hold on. Let me just see if I can. Oh, wait a second. See, guys, this is what happens when you jump into a live stream and you don't particularly know the settings that well, and you're like, how do I fix this? Um. Oh, let me just see something. Wait a minute. Hide. Ugh, no, that's dumb. Nope. Let's actually remove the background here. Actually, no, that doesn't help. So yeah, I don't know why I look like this, but we're gonna leave it like this for now because I don't know how to fix it per se. Um, just give me one more second, guys, and I will. I don't know, like that look. Well, we're gonna just have to live for it. We're gonna have to live with this view for now. But I'm here today to talk about episode 2 of Strange New Worlds, entitled "Children of the Comet." Now, if you guys were so inclined to watch me last week, you would know that I really liked the episode from last week, but I was um very kind of disappointed with certain elements of the storytelling because we didn't really get a good introduction to our main crew, I thought. So, I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't necessarily, that um pleased with it from a writer's perspective. And one of my biggest problems is that one of the main characters, the new security chief, Laan, her backstory just basically got revealed um, by her, sitting down with Pike and basically telling us her backstory. And as a writer, your job is to organically tell us the backstory of her characters in action. So basically, the fast rule in television and in movies is show, don't tell. And I think that the Star Trek writers so far have done just a lot of telling and not a lot of showing. But that was a really minor gripe from last week, and I was hoping that that would get corrected this week, but unfortunately, it didn't get corrected. In this episode, we find out that Cadet O'Hara has a tragic backstory, and we find out that her entire family got killed in a shuttle accident. And basically, the reason why she joined Starfleet is because the family member that she was staying with at the time um, had been a member of Starfleet early on in their lives, and basically O'Hara is trying to basically find herself and trying to find a way to keep her busy as she's going through the mourning part of losing her entire family. And this Lieutenant O'Hara isn't that sure if she wants to stay in Starfleet altogether in the future. And I did find that interesting, but I wish it would have been handled a lot better. Like, for example, one scene that I loved in this episode is a scene where Cadet O'Hara gets invited to um, the Captain Pike has a dinner for all the senior officers and a few members of the crew. And the con officer Erica basically, tricks Cadet O'Hara into believing that she has to wear a dress uniform to the event, so she's the only one basically in a dress uniform. Well, not really. Un is in a kind of a dressy uniform as well, but Cadet O'Hara gets tricked into coming to this casual dinner with the captain in full dress, and I found that quite funny when she actually, when her and Erica knocked on Captain Pike's door, and Pike just answers the door like old uncle with the cooking apron on, and he says, "Oh, welcome. I got to take care of the ribs. Have some wine or whatever." Um, yeah, so I did find that quite funny. Also, a thing that I liked about this episode, that I really liked in the first episode as well, but I don't think I really said it on this stream or the other one that I was a part of. I really like the fact that we are breathing with these characters and that we're sitting with them and that we're spending time with them and that we're getting a feel for the people that they are, regardless of whether or not they give us character traits of themselves. I really like the fact that we are sitting with these people and it's just not pew 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 immediately in action of the week like it is in Discovery and Picard. Also, the thing that I loved about this episode is that this episode really harkens back to the Michael Piller sort of diagram of writing Star Trek, in that every week we focused on a new character, and this episode focuses in on Uhura, and I really hope that that Michael Piller diagram from Next Generation season 3 on really continues in Strange New Worlds, that we do get uh, an episode spotlight on a different main character every week, because I really, really love that style of storytelling from 90s Star Trek, and I do hope that these current Star Trek writers, um, carry on that tradition in Strange New Worlds, since Strange New Worlds is going to be primarily episodic with with serialization thrown in there. You know, so I really hope that this story structure of focusing on one character per episode continues. Anyway, so in this episode, the Enterprise get in charge with changing the direction of a comet that is going to destroy a habited alien planet. And to be honest, when it started, it was like a very, very classic, episode of Star Trek, in that the crew have an issue to deal with, and then they come up with they come up with a way to deal with the issue, thus, completing their mission and saving the day. With that being said, I did feel that the story of what is in the comet was really intriguing, but I don't think that it was executed very clearly and very properly, because we discovered that this comet has a force field around it. And because of the force field, one would think that, how is it possible for you to beam down on the comet to change its trajectory or to find out what's so special about it if there's a force field? And when I was watching this episode last night with a friend, I really, I really was surprised at that. Like they were able to beam down so easily, and they were able to get back so easily. But on a subsequent rewatch today, I found out that they did mention that the force field around the comet goes down intermittently, and and they do mention that they can, physically slip through the force field when it does go down and when it comes back up. The other thing that really pissed me off, it really did piss me off last night when I was watching it for the first time, because I totally missed the line when Uhura, La'an, Spock, and Kirk's brother enter enter the chamber where this giant egg is. I totally missed the line that Spock says there's oxygen atmosphere in the chamber. So you can imagine my reaction when Kirk's younger brother goes up to the egg, and somehow some giant energy is pulsating through the egg, and that kicks him back and then knocks him the fuck out. And as a result of him being knocked out, La'an says, "Take his helmet off right away." And I'm like, "Wait a second. You guys are on a fucking comet, and you didn't like how is like how irresponsible is that? Like, didn't you guys check the oxygen in the air to see if you guys could breathe? Like, how fucking irresponsible is it to do that?" So that was my reaction last night. But when I rewatched the episode today, I really I kind of heard that line where Spock says, "There's oxygen atmosphere within the chamber that they were in." So that really negates the issue that I had last night or early this morning when I was watching the episode, and I completely missed that line, and that's why I call bloody murder when Kirk's brother was thrown back in on said, "Take his helmet off right away." I'm like, "No, you're gonna kill him." So that kind of did bother me, but now that I had a chance to see the episode again and saw that that was a nice little tip of the I saw that the writers did cover that up properly. I was pleased to notice that. The other thing that I really didn't, per se like is I don't like the way that or the actress who plays young Uhura was played in this episode. I don't know if it was the actress or if it was the writing, but she seemed unusually disinterested or flat to me. She really didn't have the spunk or the energy that I thought a young Uhura would have. She seemed to be very, very unsure of herself and what she was doing in Starfleet. Now, you might be saying, "Oh, she's just a young cadet. This is her first away mission." I understand that. But again, as a writer, if you want someone to be unsure of themselves and unsure of their capabilities, you set that up early on. So later on in the episode, when that does come back up, it's justified. Now, a perfect opportunity to do that would have been when she started humming in at the captain's dinner in Pike's quarters. Like when she was humming, if the camera moved down to her hand and it was twitching, we would see that her humming was a result of her being nervous. Like I wish that they would have made her humming a more organic part of her character instead of just saying, "Oh, it's something that she does." And just by coincidence, that thing that she does is going to come in handy into this away mission that we're going to have her do in a little bit. I thought that was lazy writing, and I thought that was far convenient. And like I said, there there was the easy fix for that, but I'm really upset that the writers didn't go down that road and they just went down the road of least resistance, and they just gave her something, and they didn't bolster it with a character pillar. I thought that that could have been handled much more. I also think that her backstory could have been weaving into the episode and not just spoon fed to us at Pike's captain's dinner. I really think that the writers could have done a better job with that and could have. I wish that the writing was a little bit better to allow Ohora to be still nervous, to be still a little unsure of herself, but to have more of a energetic, poppy feel to her instead of coming off as flat, disinterested, and yeah, her performance didn't really play that well for me. I really liked here, meeting Hemmer. for just one scene, and like, okay, so this guy beamed on at the tail end of the last episode, and now we get one scene with him to sort of explain to us that he's the engineer, that he's blind, and he's all this and that. But I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing a standalone episode just based on him, so I can get a better idea of what kind of character he's going to be, and what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses. So I am looking forward to that, um as the season progresses. I thought that this was a good episode. It got better for me when I realized that those writers' gripes I had were explained away by the writers, but I was watching the episode with a friend last night, so I clearly missed a bunch of pillars that bothered me in the moment. But now watching the episode again, I'm happy to know that these pillars uh, do no longer exist. Also, I was kind of unsure of the overall explanation as to why the comet came to the specific planet at this specific moment, so the Enterprise could break it up and change the comet's trajectory from vaporizing this uninhabited planet. On that same note, the one moment that really has stayed the same since I watched this episode last night, and since I just finished the episode a little while ago, is that moment where Spock all of a sudden has a bright idea to get into a shuttle and to use the shuttle's heat shield to sort of break apart the planet. And I'm like, dude, that fucking shuttle is too big, and that fucking heat shield is too small to break up an entire fucking comet. So on that note, I call foul and I call bullshit. And I'm like, really, dude? Oh, come on. You guys could have done something better than that. So I really did not like that sequence at all, because I found it so unbelievably impractical that the shuttle's heat shield could break up a fucking comet that big. So that was really the note that I call bullshit on. Also, it it played very weird to me that Spock was on the bridge one moment, and then in the next scene he was upside down, on the comet, uh, you know, you know, you know, you know, jetting off to go break it up. I thought that should have been explained more explicitly. I thought that should have been explained more explicit. I thought that should have been explained more explicitly to us. Maybe in a conference meeting by Pike and his senior staff, maybe. But that's a really small nitpick to me, and I could go either way on that. But I found it very weird that he was on the bridge one moment, and the next moment he was in the shuttle upside down, on a comet fragment. I was like, what, like, how, wow, like, okay, that didn't play particularly well for me. I did like the scene of the Enterprise flying through space and battling the alien protagonists of this episode. I thought that was really well done. I love the conversation between number one and Pike towards the end of the episode, where Una basically says, just because you saw something, that doesn't necessarily mean that your future is written in stone and you have the ability to change it. I really like that aspect of that conversation. Again, my favorite thing of this entire episode was the fact that we just got to sit with the characters for a little bit, and just sort of soak in the people that they are. That's something that we really have never got in modern new Star Trek. and I'm really appreciated that Akiva Goldsman and Henry Alonso Myers, who co-wrote this episode, are taking that approach with Strange New Worlds. In summation, this episode wasn't great. I think I liked it just a little bit less than the pilot episode of Strange New Worlds. But with that being said, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this ride much more than I was Picard season 2, or much more I did the most recent season of Discovery. So that has to be saying something, in the long run, right, guys? So, in summation, my grade for this episode from 1 to 10, if I had to give this episode uh, a grade number from 1 to 10, I will give this episode a solid 4. Again, there were things about it that kind of bothered me that didn't work from a story perspective, but there was so much more in here that I liked watching, and the visuals of this episode, the cinematography were just great. I mean, in that cave, I believe they used the AR wall that became famous on Mandalorian. So all the images, the costumes, the spacesuits that they have to shoot up in to go onto the comet early on in the episode was great. And yeah, I thought this episode was okay, but I didn't like it as much as I did the first episode um, of Strange New Worlds that we experienced last week. Okay, guys, so that'll do it for my review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 2, entitled The Children of the Comet. In the comments below, if you've seen this episode, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you liked about it, or tell me what you didn't like about it. But um, until next week at the same time, the same bat channel, and I promise I'll try and get some of this. The I'll try to get some of the I'll try to get some of the more technical stuff of um of StreamYards worked out here for next week, because I'm very, very new to live streaming, and yeah, it's early days yet, guys. So you must be patient with me for there. But before I go, I just want to show you guys something. There you can see it on the ticker down below. If you want to follow me and talk to me about Star Trek or anything else, my Twitter handle is down there. I'm at Creek Fanatic 88 on Twitter. You can come and talk to me about Star Trek Strange New Worlds or anything that you like. Um, but until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.
So much happened here, and so much is about to.